we've had a lot of great things happen this year. Probably most notably would be our recruiting. We have pumped a lot of money in recruiting. We've used a lot of new strategies. We were fortunate that we had Meet and Confer. It worked for us in this respect that we were able to do lateral transfers, where certified officers from other departments can transfer into our department. We had signing bonuses, which was a $10,000 signing bonus with a 4-year commitment to our department. And the good news is as of today, we are actually 3 people overstaffed. And in my time in the department, almost 20 years now, I don't ever remember us being overstaffed. It will be short-lived because we have 2 retirements coming up in the near future. And then sometime in 2010, I think we anticipate another 3. But being overstaffed allows us to prepare for those positions through attrition. Those are some of the really great things that have happened, and I have to give credit to Community Services, our recruiting officer, Brian Robinson. They've really worked hard, and to the media outlets that we've used, and to our advertising company that was able to help us. Some of the other things that we are experiencing right now are technology advances. We are focused on utilizing digital systems in our cars, and we are trying to find ways. We're working with City IT to find ways to download the video from anywhere in the city, as well as our computer system. We're working with that, and that's a struggle right now, but we'll get there. I think the community is probably interested in the direction where we're going. We have a 3-prong approach that we're looking for the future. Our next strategic plan will probably be focused on 5 or 6 years, and we are looking into an intelligence-led policing, which is what we focused on this first time. Changing culture takes time, and we were able to change culture, and we are trying to get our officers and our department more community-oriented and focused on community service. You know, the slogan is to protect and serve, and we are wanting to evolve into more of a community commitment type of slogan. And but we are looking at intelligence-led policing, which we have our crime analysis unit that we have finally put together, and utilizing the best software that's out there. It helps us predict crime. It helps us map our crime, and we are able to focus on specific individuals or specific areas that are involved in our criminal activity in our community. And through that process and that intelligence gathering, we have made numerous arrests and have cleared numerous cases. The next would be community policing. That's where the officers are more involved in their particular neighborhood. And I have some really good ideas on how we're going to get there, or where I want to be, but not necessarily how we're going to get there. And then the third step would be problem-oriented policing. So you have intelligence-led policing, community policing, and problem-oriented policing. And the community policing and problem-oriented policing work hand in hand. Basically, we identify a neighborhood, we identify what the problem is in that neighborhood, and the officers that work that neighborhood focus together as a team to find a strategy to curtail that problem. That's the future, and that's what we're working on. Like I said, we've been very fortunate to have our crime analysis unit now in full force, and we've done more with less. We haven't had the approval for other positions, but I've been able to move positions and move work in certain areas that have freed up personnel and have allowed us to move civilian personnel in our department to areas that we needed them. You know, the third assistant chief has been a hot topic, but I can tell you, I'm going to give you a short story on it because it's a very long issue. Our department is civil service, and we test for positions. So not necessarily promoting the most qualified, but the one that tested the best. Well, many years ago, we had 4 captain's positions. Those were the highest tested positions in our department. What would happen in the troubles or the obstacles that the chiefs would face, they would have someone that would basically oversee an entire division that may not have great leadership skills, and would create a morale issue in that division or that section, which covers a lot of people. And eventually, through time, chiefs would take those captains and put them in areas where they had no supervision. They had no one to supervise. You know, we always had, it wasn't a joke, it actually happened many, many years ago that one of the captains had angered the chief. Again, the highest paid tested position in our department, and he's downstairs with his desk in front of a Coke machine because nobody would follow that captain. And it's very difficult in civil service to demote a captain once they've tested. So through the years, chiefs, 2 or 3 chiefs back, recognized this and began to eliminate those captains' positions. And when I took office, we were at 2. We used to have 4. Through attrition, we eliminated those 2. Basically, the people that picked up the workload were the lieutenants and the assistant chiefs. Now, the assistant chiefs work at my discretion, or at the chief's discretion. Yeah. So if they don't perform at that area or at that level that meet the expectations of the chief, then they can be moved back to their past rank. And so that was what we were looking at. We understand that the employees that we hire today, Generation X and Y employees, they need more guidance, and I'll explain that. This is a paramilitary organization. People think that I can go to one of my employees and say, you do this because I said. Well, you can, but you're not going to get productivity that way. Right. Generation X and Y employees will do just about anything you ask them to do. They just have to understand why. That takes a little more time than just giving a direct order. Mm-hmm. So what we've done is we've flattened the command tree. What we've tried to do is take a level of bureaucracy out, which was the captain's positions, to help that flow of communication down and up through the chain. And we want more direct contact with our officers so they know what's going on, what direction the department's going. I visit with officers weekly, and this elimination of this position has been helpful. Now, the creation of the 3rd Assistant Chief was to help eliminate the burden that's been placed on the 2 Assistant Chiefs and the Chief and our lieutenants. And I tell you, the 3rd Assistant Chief position could not have come at a better time. The future of this department and tackling of the 3-prong approach of intelligence-led policing, community policing, and problem-oriented policing is going to be very, very time-consuming. And I will need some assistance from somebody all the time as we go through this. It's going to involve meetings with the police. It's going to involve meetings with the media. It's going to involve meetings with the citizens. We will have a citizen group that will kind of tell us, hey, this is what we want. There's surveys in place. Chief Fant, who was promoted to the 3rd Assistant Chief, is very good at analyzing, producing statistics, analyzing statistics, and that's basically where we're going right now. And so he's going to be very helpful. One of the other things we're looking for in the near future is another police department. And that is very time consuming. Every chief that I've talked to that's gone through the building of a new police department has really either assigned someone or handled it, and it becomes a very weighted task. Mm-hmm. And so we are approaching that, and that's probably going to be something that I'm going to be handling. Obviously, I'm going to be the one responsible for the new station if it works out good, and if it doesn't work out good, I'm going to be responsible. So I'm going to have a lot of hands-on in that. That's basically the history and the creation of the 3rd Assistant Chief.